Hello everybody and welcome back to the channel for today's video. And another one. Today we're going to talk about the narcissists and their supply sources, the old, the new, and the ugly. So when you're with the narcissist, you don't understand what supply is, but you're one of their supply sources. And when you wake up to this stuff, you realize they're cycling. Something that goes in a circle and does the same thing. That's what a cycle is. The narcissist's whole life, they go in the same circle and do the same crap. They just do it with different people. Same-ish, different toilet, basically. What they'll do is they'll love bomb, devalue, discard, and then hoover, right? That's the circle. I always think of the gear on a bicycle. That's all they do. And they just keep going back around, back around. They have probably like 4 forms of supply that they mainly deal with, that they cycle with. So they're at least cheating on you with those 3. But then they have all of the one-nighters, the people that take them on trips. The new ones they meet, because they're always meeting new people to add to their yoke of bondage. They're trickster spirits and they're a salesman. They're selling themselves. They're selling they're selling their body, or they're selling themselves as a lie when just one of 2 things is happening. They're either just selling you some lie about how they're going to be there for you forever, or they're in escort energy, if you know what I mean. And they're just out, sleeping around with people so they can get supply that way and cursing them. These demons, boy. I'll tell you, it's crazy because, you could be a good individual and God will crucify you. He don't do nothing good for you. And then these demons out here on demon time all the time, he'll bless them with homes and cars and gold chains and ways to steal people's online content and use it and shadow ban you to prop themselves up. And gives them all kinds of power. He'll give them armies of police and sheriffs and federal jurisdictions and officers and officials and judges and lawyers and attorneys and coroners and male officer and all kinds of laundering bankers to help them build all these nasty organizations and mafias right out of our judicial system. And you decide you want to, help be part of the Lord's work, man, and he just lets you get crucified. His blessings are something else, boy. They're almost just to keep you alive so you can be enslaved. You have your freedom, but you got to fight for it every day in your sovereignty. At least that's what I've been going through. God don't give you a penny. He just barely keeps you alive. He'll protect you to keep you alive to do his work, but he ain't giving you nothing. He's stingy mother. And you feel like he likes them more than he likes his own kind, his own people. And, after working with the Lord and working for the Lord, you kind of like have a different perspective, because it's like you don't want to work for him anymore if you don't ever come through. You're always negative reciprocity, not positive, not even just even keel, or not even 0, but it's negative. Negative reciprocity. I mean, a lot of ways he acts like the narcissist does. Really. He future fakes because whatever you think's coming ain't coming. Whatever you feel like you've been told's coming ain't coming. God's stingy, boy. He either doesn't have any money, or he refuses to give you not a penny. He don't send you one person or one piece of paper. He don't care. He don't care. But the demons, man, they got all kind of armies working for them. They got all kind of resources. They got money. They're throwing around money like it's a strip club. They're having a great time getting high and going to strip clubs and having free-for-alls and flying on vacations and trips every day and driving exotic cars and living in mansions off somebody else's dollar. stuff they stole from people. Gotta let them unalive light workers and hurt children, do disgusting things. Things that you would think if just a mere person in humanity, if you were God, right? If you were just in his position, not God, but if you were able to make some of these decisions, you'd put a stop to some of this stuff, but God doesn't. I wouldn't let no child get abused like they do down here. There's no freaking way I would allow that. But God does. I would never let one of my light workers down here work with nothing and continue to not give them some kind of information to give them drive, to keep their passion flowing. God don't do that. Then you give us this big book and it's like, learn what I'm telling you need to learn out of it. And that's fine, but, you don't give us any idea of what kind of standard we're living in this day and age compared to that book. And then he wants us to resemble Jesus Christ. But Jesus Christ was crucified. And ain't none of us out here Jesus Christ. We ain't trying to be crucified like that. Hell, I've been crucified in many ways, not physically yet anyway, but you never know when that's coming. Because I've been salvaged every time, saved. Like I said, God will protect you, but he ain't giving you shit. Anyway, back to the narcissist and supply sources. They have like the weekend types where what they'll do is they'll start these little arguments with you and get rageful, and then they'll run out and you'll be ruminating. You might be calling them, or you might get used to it. Be like, well, they'll be back in a couple days. But they do these things on purpose because they have to see their other supply sources. So if you're married to them, they may start these big arguments up, coming towards a Friday when they got plans to meet a supply source and go to the beach for the weekend. They're going to pay for it. All you got to do is sleep with them. So the narcissist is down with that. It's free. All I got to do is get my body up. They'll start an argument with you and disappear. And you'll think they're trying to recover from somehow you hurt their feelings. But really what happens, they come back with a tan. They come back like they just came out of a massage parlor. And they're all relaxed. Because that's what they were doing. While you were worried about them over the weekend, they were out living it up with some stranger. They'll be on all of these dating sites. They're always looking for new supply. And sometimes they'll look an hour out, like between 50 and 100 miles out. They can date somebody, and that person over there is going to be a town or several towns over, like a city an hour away or so. So they can't see them when they want to. The narcissist can fake that. If they just see you once a week or a couple times a month or something, and then for a weekend, and then talk to you on the phone otherwise or text you, they have all kind of excuses. They're just as sinister. It's easier to do. They could have three different relationships going on. Or a lot of times the narcissist has separate families too, which isn't talked about a lot. They'll have a whole family going on, and then they'll have you in another city. They do that because you're not going to look for a date online outside of your city because you're not a narcissist. So they're never going to show up in your profile, but you will for them. And they're looking that far out because they can lie to you and see you and get supply off of you and not have to see you that much. And that's secondary, tertiary supply. So those sources of supply are the supply sources where they always say the narcissist, before they woke up to it, the narcissist was the greatest individual they ever met. They were kind, they were really nice and did everything for them, but they'd only see them 2 times a month. A narcissist they look at seeing somebody 2 times a month as that's part of their enjoyment from their month. So you're not going to see them for real because you're not also questioning anything they're doing. You're just glad to see them. Thank you for spending some of your time with me. Not knowing he's got a wife and 3 kids at home, And then he's always got, I can't see you, it's too far away. So these are different things. And if they do it long enough and then the marriage, like his wife figures out what he really is or she, and they finally leave the narcissist because things got rocky because they can't love. All they do is lie, they can't tell the truth. So eventually all narcissist relationships end. That's a fact that you'll hear in psychology. And this is all for entertainment purposes only. So what they do is that supply source, when they're running low, they're going to be like, well, I'll just marry that man or woman an hour away. I'll make them my primary. Now that I got divorced, I'll slowly break that information to them that I was scared or something. That's why I never told you I was in a marriage, but I was getting abused when they were the abuser. He was getting cheated on when it was really the wife that was getting cheated on by him all the time. They'll just flip the whole script, right? And then you be an empath and you're now a trauma bonded to them. They leave you with some sort of an addiction to see them with all their manipulations and mind control. You're going to run headlong into a relationship with them and you don't even really know them. And you'll find out once you live with them for a while, it doesn't take long. You don't have to be very smart to understand that everything about them's a lie and they're cheating on you when they're actually living in the same house with you. But then you'll be heavily trauma bonded and they'll probably knock you down to the ground to where you feel like you'll have no self-worth, so you'll stay with them by then. Or you'll do something like get their name added to the mortgage or to the home title, or you'll buy cars with them real quick, or get pregnant, or something. And they love to do that, or they'll give you an STD or something, and before you know it, they're going to control you with that and put fear in you. I'm never letting you go. We have this house together and I'm not letting go of it. We have a child together and I'm not going to let you see them. We have these car loans together and they'll just quit paying them. What are you going to do? You're going to have to pay it. Or you'll have to claim bankruptcy. And generally speaking, it's not just you pay half, unless they sign papers to pay half. You have to pay all of it. When somebody quits paying something you're jointly hooked up to, credit-wise, you have to pay the whole thing if they quit paying it. That's why you never want joint stuff. You really don't. I mean, if you do, it would have to be heavily vetted individual. Something, you would know, your intuition would tell you when that's a good idea or not, if you're going to be with that forever person. But that's what they do. They'll start fights when you come back all happy, and you'll get used to that. And you'll say, well, next time when that happens, you won't even worry about it, because you'll know in a couple of days they're going to come back and be happy. They'll come back on Sunday night happy. So you just feel like they're blowing off steam, but you don't know they're cheating on you. They're selling their body for a weekend trip somewhere. It's for free. And they're cheap. So they always give their body up because they don't want to spend money. So their body is free for them to give up sleeping with someone. Plus they knock all your walls down that way and steal all your fuel and spell you at the same time. Then you have the narcissist type supply source, and they're going to be with them when they leave you most of the time, because that's the one that they're more like, they feel comfortable with. And they usually love bomb each other. And then after that period of time, they both have empaths, so they both left their empaths and they come back together. So the cycle with narcissists for a while, off and on. They'll do like a couple months on, couple months off. The more elevated narcissist is going to be the one in control, and they're going to continually fight for power and control. And usually what happens is the lesser narcissist doesn't ever get power and control, so they break up, because eventually it gets very violent. The police will be called. Like if somebody gets in a car to leave, the other person will be like grabbing on the car and getting dragged down the street or something. Things like that. That's two narcissists. Or the other person will get in their car and they'll ram into them on purpose. These are kind of things they'll do. And then they get heavily manipulative on each other when they're broke up. And they'll come back together because the main thing that keeps them coming back together is they never establish power and control over them. So the lesser narcissist is going to be the one that's always focused on, I'm going to come back to establish power and control. And that's what they do when they come back with you once you start to glow up. They got to come in and reestablish power and control over you. Tell you you ain't shit and take all your energy and leave again. And then when you glow up again, they're going to come back and they're going to say they've changed and then tell you you ain't shit and then take your energy and leave again. And they'll keep doing that until you refuse them. And when you refuse them, you're going to get pushback. They're going to try to get you in trouble with the law, try to get you in trouble with everybody and anybody. Start all kind of rumors. That's what they do. There's nothing good in a narcissist. Nothing. If they're not even pretty or good looking, then you really got nothing, because that's all they have is that borrowed avatar they're in. And if that ain't good looking, they're cheap, they're grimy, and there's no low level to narcissists. They will continually show you a new low to them. No holds barred. They'll sleep with anybody in your family. Same gender, opposite gender. They're terrible people. They'll sleep with your neighbor just to get you back, or your best friend just to get you back. They'll record you. They'll even record you and doctor up a film, add and take away from it, so it's made worse and you didn't even know it was being recorded. Or they got you in a reactive abuse when you were unhealed. You may be in a healed state now, but they had you during a time of being unhealed. They got you in a heavy reactive state of being, and maybe they recorded you or caught you when you might have been drinking back then and gotten reactive abuse, but they'll try to air that or show people that and say that's you all the time. They are horrible people. They never do any work. They always steal. Anybody famous that's a narcissist is going to be thieving their material. And then they'll shadow ban you. Makes me not even want to do anything anymore when it comes to this kind of work, because it's like, God will protect the channel, but just to keep it open. But I'm not getting any views, and I'm not getting any growth, and I'm not getting any financials out of it, because they're stealing it all and shadow banning it. And God just doesn't seem to give a damn. He just doesn't care. They'll have the narcissist supply, but then eventually after they love bomb each other, then they quit talking because they know they're cheating on each other, and they start to get that vibe going on, and they'll be hiding and looking on their phones and trying to set up other source supply relationships. And they'll almost be a little bit overt with it. They'll be passive aggressive with it. It's like they know the other person knows, and they'll smash it in their face in some sort of way. They'll break up, and then they'll go back to an empath. The empath will comfort them, protect them, and give them love. You know, feed them, give them nutrition, give them good sound advice and counsel. It's just like an addict, somebody who's a substance addict that lives on the streets. When it gets cold out, or they are out of substance to take, or they weren't allowed in the shelter because they got in a fight or something, they're going to come to you, right? Or they're going to come to some place that will take them in, or they may go to a place to get health care, and they'll get 3 hots in a cot, and they'll sleep for a couple weeks. They'll sober up. They'll get a bunch of vitamins, and they'll get antibiotics and bandages. And as soon as they feel healed up, and their arrogance comes back real hard and real good, and then they'll leave. They may leave against medical advice, or they'll just leave. I'm leaving. You guys aren't treating me right. And they'll leave, go back out on the streets, and then they'll do the same thing again, right? That's what an addict does. They cycle as well. So then they're going to get high, unless they recover. I'm not talking about people that recover. I'm talking about the ones that don't care. They just want to keep doing the same thing. They're going to go out and get high, and they're going to do the same old stuff and get sick again. Malnutritioned, get infections, get STDs, and they're going to be sick. They're going to come to a place where they can rest again, and that's all they do. And that's what the narcissist does. They come to you to get rest. You're the rest area. And when they go to the narcissist, they go to blow up the world, and with the other narcissists, try to establish power and control with them. The new supplies are fun because they don't know anything about them. So it's a project. How how much time can I spend with this one before they figure me out? And they have a new mask that they're going to try out for the first time on the new supply because they got some new ideas from when they met you as the new supply. So when they met you as a new supply, they got new ideas for their next mask to be even better. A new story to add to their history, their fake history, their thousand-piece puzzle. So they're excited to try out the new mask with the new lies. And they're maybe even a little bit more sinister, more believable. So every time they leave a primary source supply and you were a new primary, they're going to have new ideas to switch up the mask a little better, make it shine a little brighter, make it more believable, and twist it a little. To tighten the screws up a little, or loosen it up a little over here. Yeah, there we go. Let's try this one out. And they're excited to use that new persona. And they're going to use it with your fuel, at least the first time. And the new supply source it's infatuation, so they love that. It's brand new toy, baby. Smells like brand new plastic when you take that G.I. Joe out of the wrapping. And it's still stiff. It moves right. Later it gets flimsy and it's like, the head will be down like that. You'd be like, I need a new G.I. Joe. This one's like all wobbly. The paint starts coming off of them. You lose the gun or you lose the weapon that it came with or something. You're like, man, I need a new G.I. Joe. This one sucks. After a few weeks, But that's how it is with the new supply. They just unwrapped a new toy and they're going to find out how to take them down. This is going to be fun. But first, we're going to have that love bombing infatuation experience before I destroy them. Let me get a picture of you now because this is the best you're going to look. Because after this picture, I'm going to bust you to pieces. And then we'll get a snapshot of what you look like after. And when you pop off and do a reactive abuse, I'm going to record you. And then you'll find out later I'm a narcissist. And all I do is hate. I'm greedy. And I'm jealous and envious of you, and I want to be you. First, I wanted you to heal me and help me and fix me, but you couldn't. So now I got to break you down and steal all of your talents and your energy and your aura and become you now. If you would have just fixed me, empath. That's your job. Your job's to regulate my emotions every day. You're here for me. You go out there and you work 50 hours a week and then come home and you regulate me, bitch. And that's how it is. The new supply, they get over on them. Because in the beginning, you give them the benefit of the doubt. If you're an empath, that's a little bit naive, or you grew up groomed to do this. It's nostalgic, and you're kind of on a little bit of a high in the love bomb phase, most definitely. Not knowing that it's only down from there. So they also like to triangulate in between sources because they overlap them. Whenever you overlap relationships, there's a good chance you can get triangulation or problems that occur anyway. But they just feed them. And that could get dangerous because it could turn into domestic violence. People can get unalived. And as much as the narcissist lies, cheats, and steals, and thieves, and fakes, and gaslights and manipulates, you could get two people, trying to pew-pew each other. And it's all lies that the middleman made up, the narcissist. That's why you never want to feed into the triangulation. It just cuts the love bomb of the current supply short, the new one. Because they like to give you the negative energy, being the black sheep, and they're now the golden child. But when you refuse it, they just have to give it all to the new supply. So the new supply's love bomb phase is cut abruptly short. They got to start devaluing them when they didn't want to. But because you're not playing into it, they have to give negative energy. I got to unload on somebody if they're love bombing somebody. It's all fake, the good stuff. So they have to dump on somebody all the time. And if they don't have anybody, that's why their children are there. You're here so I could dump all my garbage on you and take your energy. This is stuff they do. They're abusers. From the jump, y'all. As soon as they came out their mama, they was punching the umbilical cord. they were the victim. As soon as they came out, their mama. But anyway, that's all. The new source supply is going to be a lot more naive generally because they're given the benefit of the doubt and they're the new situation. So they're going to be an interesting new topic because the narcissist is going to be running high off infatuation and wearing the new mask. The narcissist supply is the one they blow up the world with, and then they blow each other up. But then they have to recover and go back to an old source supply that's empathic, that will give them rest and heal them up, give them antibiotics so they can go out and blow down the world again. And then they have the weekend trips that they piss off their current supply source and make them think they just annoyed them for the weekend when they was out sleeping around, living it up. They went to the massage parlor. Anyway, thanks for watching.